dealing with today, I have to pay attention to tomorrow, I have to pay attention to the next day and the next, so on and so forth. Now, sorry, I follow quite a few storm spotters. Everybody knows that I follow Ryan Hall, y'all, and this is no plug for him, but I follow him because he gives me the best upfront outlook that I can look at in real time, basically, even though it's recorded. He's the only one that I can look at, because I can't look at the Weather Channel, I can't look at Weather Underground and go, okay, this is the weather pattern that I gotta pay attention to. I can't do that. So I weather geek quite a bit, and you all know that I'm a certified trained storm spotter, so obviously I pay attention to the weather around me, and for the fire department I pay attention, hey, what's coming up, what are we going to be dealing with, are we going to do spotter activation, and try to get ahead of the game. You know, I've ever since I got my driver's license, actually longer than that, ever since I can recall, I have always had a fascination with weather. Well, probably sitting there scratching your head, why didn't you go into meteorology? I never found a niche for doing meteorology. I've always had, I've never had a calling for it. In my mind, I've never had a calling for it. I've always had a calling for the life and the careers that I've had and that I do. But in all reality, meteorology and what I do today go hand in hand. Because I have to understand, okay, yes, there's no real weather going on where I'm at per se, but I gotta pay attention to the weather, the highs and the lows, because I run a big truck, and certain consistent patterns of cold weather, I need to make sure that I treat my fuel to keep it from gelling. I have to get an anti-gel additive to add to my fuel. Now, I do know in a lot of the parts of the United States that I go through, especially if they're prone to having snow, ice, cold, inclement weather, they buy pre-treated fuel. But it's not enough, so I pre-treat, or I treat, whatever you want to call it, my fuel, because I know I'm going to go into northern states, eastern states that deal with the cold on a regular basis. So I make a part of my pre-trip, and I know that video hasn't came out yet. I make it part of my pre-trip to look at the weather today, look at the weather for where I'm at, look at the weather of where I'm going, what am I, and try to predict, am I going to hit something that is going to cause a delay? Am I going to hit something that you know, in the long term, is it going to affect me? Am I going to be there long enough to where it affects what I do? Am I going to be able to get to my shipper receiver? Am I going to be able to go through there to get to my shipper receiver? Or, you know, going home, am I going to be able to go through there and be able to get home when it's time to get home? When I take my home time, like upcoming holiday, I've got Thanksgiving coming up. I'll be coming off the road for 3 to 4 days, then getting right back at it. And that's another video in itself, explaining home time time, the benefits. There's no cons to going home. No matter what anybody says, there is no cons in going home because that's your time. But again, that's another video in itself. But also, when I am going home, I know I'm going home. I know I'm going to be there for 2-3 days. Like this last home time, I was home 4.5 days. Okay, well, during that 4.5 days, you know, I did my thing, but I paid attention to the weather. What is going to be affecting me tomorrow? What's going to be affecting me the day after that? What is going to be affecting me the day that I have to leave? Am I going to have to deal with rain? And we're in the season where, am I going to have to deal with snow? Is it going to hinder me leaving? Do I have to leave a day early to get out ahead of a cold front that's going to bring a crippling snowstorm? Am I going to have to leave earlier in the day because later in the day there's going to be a high wind warning or dealing with winds? So like I said, I make it a point to Weather Geek as part of my pre-trip. And I've said in the past, be weather aware. Always understand and know what's going on around you about the weather or about anything. Basically, anything that goes on around you, always be aware of it. But when you're driving over the road or you're planning a trip, always pay attention to the weather. Is it going to hinder what I want to do today, tomorrow, or the next day? Even midway through, like just a little bit ago, I stopped back at a TA Express here on I-45. I'm in Texas. TA Express on I-45. Got me some to eat, rest, relax, stretch my legs out a little bit. Regathered what I got going on inside my head, thinking ahead. You know, am I planned ahead enough to where I can do what I need to do to get to my receiver? Am I going to be there early enough to where I can get a full 10-hour break? Am I going to be able to get a 10-hour break at my receiver? Am I going to get unloaded early? Still have enough clock to where I can come back and get out of there and get somewhere to a safe space to park, somewhere safe for me to park, so I can go on and continue on going point to point, consignee to consignee is what we call it, receiver, shipper, you know, all that. Okay. Well, not only am I looking at that, I'm looking at, okay, what's the weather going to be doing? What's the weather going to be doing tomorrow? Is it going to affect my travel? Do I need to put in today for tomorrow that, hey, you know, due to the deteriorating weather conditions, I need to do this? You know, it's all part of pre-planning and pre-tripping that I do. And I do this on a regular basis, on a constant basis. I do it so much that it's just second nature. Hey, look at the weather app. Go check out, you know, the weather people that you follow. I thought he was pulling across the grass. Go check, you know, what does Vince Welty got going on? Is he live somewhere for severe weather coverage? And severe weather doesn't have to just be tornadoes on the ground, you know, golf ball size hail, baseball size hail. It's the wind. It's just the continued rain pattern. Is it going to cause issues with flooding? You know, I watched Vince Welty, Brandon Copping. Congratulations, Brandon Copping, for the brand new baby. Very handsome baby. If you don't follow him, go follow him. Go check it out. Go check out the pictures that he put up on YouTube. And then I jump over and I check out Ryan Hall. I check out both of his channels. I don't do anything with some of the other stuff that he has going on because it doesn't pertain to me and I don't care about it. I just need to know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, or the next day, what's being predicted, what do I need to watch out for. So I jump over there and I check it out. Yes, Walmart just passed me. That's kind of different considering I've been passing Walmart all day. So I do this on a regular basis, and it's so second nature to do it because I was doing it all the time for when I was working for the city of Wamego, being a firefighter. You know, what am I going to deal with? Am I going to deal with frigid temperatures now on a constant basis? You know, with the fire service, I got to think about, okay, we run EMS calls, rescue calls, which is our bread and butter right now. You know, we run those kinds of calls. Am I dealing with somebody that's got exposure to the elements? You know, it's those kinds of things that make me do what I do. And even in your personal life, stop, check the weather. Am I good to go where I need to go? Am I good to go out? What do I need to dress for tomorrow's weather today? I need to pre-think what's going on there. This portable parking lot was pacing me, and now I have to get behind him. Okay. He just got off the interstate for the rest of you. Good job. Hey, he's out of my hair. But it's those things like, okay, so I know I'm going up into the Ohio Valley. I've already watched Ryan Hall's weather prediction for Halloween, you know, what to look forward to. And he kind of rolled everything forward, the HRRR, whatever, you know, weather mapping and prediction. They're talking snow up close to where I'm going. Okay, well, it may not affect me right then and there when I get up there, but it may affect where I gotta go to get loaded. And am I going to be able to go up and go get loaded north of where I'm going? Am I going to be able to go anywhere? You know, is it going to be blizzard conditions? You know, things that I got to pay attention to. So, like tonight, you know, I'll get to my consignee, my receiver, and I'll check out, okay, what's going on in the weather, wide world of weather. Is the snow actually going to affect me? Is it going to be something that I need to be concerned about? There's so many possibilities that I need to pay attention to. Am I going to be affected going up and across the way that I got to go up and across? I got to come from South Texas and go up north. Okay, well, I'm already looking ahead, going from South Texas to up north. What's my best routing options? Okay, that's one of my biggest things. What's my best routing options? Okay, what's going to affect that routing option? Am I going to run into rain? Am I going to run into this? Am I going to run into that? Do I come out of where I'm going and then go north this way, or do I have to go north this other way to get around what's going to affect me? You know, there's so many things about the weather that I got to pay attention to that it should be second nature for everybody that does any kind of traveling. Anybody that works in the construction industry, anybody that works in the fire industry. What am I going to be dealing with? Okay, so in the fire industry, two things I got to look at. Okay, what are my minimum temperatures? My loads. Okay, certain temperatures. All right, people are going to be kicking on their heaters. Some people are going to be lighting fireplaces. People are going to be using space heaters. You know, those are all potentials for a fire. You know, not just from the use of it, but so many steps around that. Okay, well, again, up tomorrow morning to 28 degrees. Well, do I need to treat my fuel? Well, yeah, I need to treat my fuel. I don't need it to gel, so I need to treat it far enough out so it starts going through the fuel system and getting into where it needs to be for my fuel filter, for my fuel lines, for my tanks. So it's, you know, it's just how it is. It's the beast of the nature that this is what I got to do, and this far enough away that I have to take care of tomorrow and the next day. So tomorrow I'll get loaded. Yeah, I know. I'm in South Texas. Well, I got to get fuel. I'm going to get a couple of bottles of pre-treat and a gel, and I'm going to put them in my tanks. That way it starts working through. Because they don't treat their fuel down here in Texas. They don't have the cold snaps as bad as us up in Kansas. They don't have the cold snaps down here like people up in Ohio. You know, it's anywhere north of Dallas. Dallas and north. Well, Dallas, Fort Worth and north. You have the possibility of having issues with freezing temperatures. You have the possibility of, during those freezing temperatures, you have of needing any gel put in your fuel tanks. Now there is products that you can put in your gas engines. I'm going to step over the left lane. Get around Mr. Walmart there. There is additives that reduce the moisture in your gasoline engine. Heat is one of those. There's several products out there that you can get and treat your gas engine to keep it from having issues during the winter. Because yes, in the cold, in the winter, your gas engine is going to start having issues too. It's not going to run at peak performance. Especially if you have decent mileage on your car. It's not going to run at peak performance. So you need something that is going to partake in your fuel that will depreciate or deplenish a moisture content. Because the higher the moisture, the worse your vehicle's going to run. It's the same with running a diesel engine. You need to go get these pre-treats to put in your fuel tank to keep it from gelling up. Because there is water. No matter what you do, there is water in your fuel. And it needs to be depleted because that'll cause freezing. The gelling of diesel fuel is because it's a byproduct. Several years ago, way back in the day when my dad was a truck driver, diesel was never thought of being a product that we would use on a regular basis. It was just for the commercial truck. It was just for the tractor trailer semi. And you know, things of those natures, anything commercial. And then they started putting diesel motors in cars. There's several out there that have diesel motors, and you have to treat them just like you would a commercial vehicle. Oil changes and stuff like that. That's another subject that I can get into and talk about. But it's making sure you're taking care of today for tomorrow and the next day. So when you plan out, and this is anybody that's new to truck driving, when you plan out in pre-trip, look ahead. Grab a radar, weather app. I use Radar Omega, and now mind you, these are just plugs for me to tell you what three main apps I use. I use Radar Omega, I use that one quite a bit in the fire service because I can get a better in-depth of looking at what's going on inside the storm and know, what precautions to take and what to put out on the airways. I use radar scope. I use that in conjunction with radar Omega because sometimes certain radars that I use that are different than other radars, I can actually look at what's going on with the weather, up, down, side to side, front to back. Okay, and they're paid. I pay for these services, and then I use the My Radar app, which is a free service. There is paid portions of it that you can buy on a monthly subscription, and pay attention to the weather that's happening today, and it gives you kind of a brief look at the future. Now, on my computer at home, I can use the Radar Omega app, and I can use other features like the HRRR. I can predict and look to see what's going to happen in the future. I can look at the HRRR just like Ryan Hall does. I can look at a Radar Omega's version of it and know what's going on. I don't need the Weather Channel's prediction. I keep pausing the video because it keeps sneezing. I don't need the Weather Channel or Weather Underground or my local meteorologist to tell me what's going on because I have it right there in my hand. I don't have to tune in to a TV station to find out what's up. That's sorry, had another sneeze. That's stuff that I can look at in real time. And you can too. All you gotta do is download the whatever choice radar app you want to use, weather app that you so choose, and do the same thing. The here and now, or am I going to look tomorrow? What's tomorrow going to bring me? What's the next day going to bring me? I know why I'm sneezing. I turned on my air conditioner. Even though it's 59 degrees, I turned on the air conditioner because I'm in the fishbowl. It gets warm in this truck with just the sunlight. There's a lot of spot fires going on in my area, so I start sneezing. I don't know why. It started after my last brush fire I went to. But I'm always weather aware. I'm always aware of my surroundings. I know what's going on in front of me, behind me, beside me, and everywhere I look. I'm always making sure that, well, just because it's not raining in Houston, it could be severe thunderstorm warnings up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It could be 85 degrees over in San Antonio, and 60 miles up the road, it could be 48 degrees. Temperature swings like that, and another reason why you want to pay attention to this is because it does affect your health. And when stuff starts affecting your health, you can't do the things that you normally do. My health gets down, and I have to shut down. I lose revenue. So, things to think about, things to pay attention to. It's just my opinion, just my 2 cents. It is what it is. You don't have to do what I say. I just put this out there as a suggestion. Especially if you're going to be if you're new to truck driving, or you're planning on getting into truck driving, or weather, you can keep yourself. You can take precautions for fighting the weather and what the weather brings, health-wise, illness-wise. Some other things that you can think about while you're doing all that, whether you use it in your personal life, if you're new into truck driving, or a truck driver and you don't know what exactly to pay attention to. Those are a couple of things that you want to pay attention to. Another thing that you want to pay attention to, and outside of the weather, outside of just paying attention to the weather, is, yes, look outside, see what you got going on. When you're out on the road, and yeah, you can see it's bright, clear, sunny sky today, but look at your grass. Is it moving? Is it swaying? Is it laying over? Look at your trees. Those are good indications of wind speeds. 40 and above will move a tree pretty good. 50 and above will start breaking branches. 60 and above, yeah, you got some issues. But yeah, just pay attention to those. So you don't have to worry about just looking at the weather app. It's pay attention, and that's why I say be weather aware, and always pay attention to your surroundings. Is pay attention to what's going on the side of the road. What's going on in the trees, with looking at flags, looking at, anything that the wind can blow, it will move. And you can, road signs, if they're sitting there walking back and forth pretty good, you're fighting a pretty good strong wind. You can do that at home. If you got a stop sign at the end of your block, go just look outside. Is it moving pretty good? Well, you got pretty good winds. A couple other things to pay attention to is, all right, well, there was a lot of rain in a certain area. Is that rain that happened, is it still going to affect me? Is there water over a road I need to get down? And you can just look. You can look at the ditches. How full are they? Well, they're not that full. Okay, well, good possibility that I don't have to worry about water being over the road. But then again, is that in a lower area? Look ahead. Call ahead. Call ahead. That's another tool for your toolbox. Call ahead. Find out, hey, I'm going to be coming in on route so-and-so. And I know you guys just got a butt ton of rain here just recently. Can I get through that area? And they'll tell you yes or no. Or they'll tell you, I don't know. I didn't come that way. Let me ask somebody that comes that way. Let me find out information. If you can't get an answer from your shipper receiver, Google the county that shipper receiver's in and get a hold of the local law enforcement. Call the local law enforcement on their non-emergency number. Say, hey, I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I'm going to be going to so-and-so and such business. those are some of the things that I worry about. And I've always had a fear of wind while driving a commercial vehicle. I will always have a fear of wind while driving a commercial vehicle. I could be in the most aerodynamic truck on the market, have the most aerodynamic trailer on the market, and I will still fear the wind. Because the wind is the number one cause to layovers in commercial vehicles. I got 30,000 in the box. Well, I'm running into and this is just a scenario, I'm running into a cold front that's got a gust front for the leading edge of the line of thunderstorms. Oh, what's the wind going to be like on that gust front? Well, it's gusting at 70, 80 miles an hour. I'm stopping. I'm going to get a hold of somebody and say, hey, due to the deteriorating weather along my route, I'm going to stop so I can safely proceed to A or B, whichever one's going on. That way I can safely make delivery. It may interrupt my timely delivery, but so I can safely deliver this load to its customer, or go safely pick up this load so I can get it to the next place, to the customer. So, like I said, things to think about, things you want to consider. And like I said, in your personal life, it's also things you want to consider. Because if you're going to go camping and you got a camper there, you don't want to get blown over, blown off the road. You don't want your plans running. I don't want my plans ruined. I want to make sure that I'm going to have fun. I'm going to make sure that I can enjoy whatever my plans are. If I've got an outdoor activity that I want to go do, I want to make sure. So I look ahead.